I moved into my first home just over a year ago. It was a 1940s craftsman house, tucked in a quiet neighborhood just outside the city. I fell in love with it the moment I walked in. The creaky hardwood floors, the crown molding, the cozy attic space that reminded me of childhood visits to my grandparents' house. It was old, sure, but it had charm. And it was mine. At first, things were perfect. I painted, I decorated, and I slowly filled the rooms with thrifted finds and little pieces of my personality. I worked from home, so I spent a lot of time in the house, just me and my dog, Milo. But around the start of fall, I started hearing things. It began with faint creaks above my bedroom ceiling. At night, when the world was still and Milo lay curled at the foot of my bed, I'd hear soft thumps, like footsteps. I chalked it up to the old wood shifting in the cool night air. That's what everyone says about old houses, right? They make noise. Then one morning, I noticed my back door was unlocked. I always lock it. It's muscle memory at this point. I brushed it off, thinking maybe I'd been distracted while letting Milo out the night before. But then other things started happening. My phone charger went missing. I found the box of cereal I hadn't touched in days half-eaten and shoved behind the microwave. One of Milo's chew toys ended up in the attic hatchway. I didn't even know how it got up there. And Milo, he started barking at the ceiling. At nothing every night. I began to feel it, that gut-level sense that something was wrong, that I wasn't really alone in the house. One night I came back from the grocery store and found the hallway light on. I never leave that light on. Milo stood in the middle of the living room, staring up at the attic door like he was hypnotized. That night I barely slept. Around 2:30 a.m. I heard a soft dragging noise above my bed. I held my breath, then, faint but clear, breathing. Slow, heavy breathing coming from the attic. The next morning I skipped work and bought a motion sensor. I installed it just inside the attic hatch. I didn't sleep at all that night. And sure enough, around 3 a.m. my phone buzzed. Motion detected. Attic. I grabbed the flashlight, heart pounding so hard I could barely stand. I called Milo close and pulled down the attic ladder. The wood creaked under my weight as I climbed. The beam from my flashlight swept across boxes and old suitcases, then landed on a pile of blankets. And then, movement. A man. Thin, hunched, pale. His eyes locked on mine like a cornered animal. I didn't scream. I couldn't. I backed down the ladder, slammed it shut, and locked myself in the bathroom with Milo. I called 911, hands trembling so hard I could barely dial. The police arrived within minutes. They went up with weapons drawn and found him still crouched in the attic, surrounded by stolen granola bars, half-empty water bottles, and a notebook. Inside the notebook were pages of writing, ramblings about me. My name, what times I left the house, what I ate, what I wore. He even drew sketches of me from above, like he'd been watching through the attic vent. He told the police he just needed a place to stay, that he meant no harm. But in that notebook were disturbing phrases. Things like, she sleeps so quietly and soon I'll talk to her. They believe he'd been living up there for over a month. He'd broken in through the side crawl space. Apparently, my house had a ventilation access panel in the back. Easy to miss. He used it at night while I was walking Milo or taking a shower. He brought in food, made a nest in the insulation, and listened. Watched. He was arrested for unlawful entry, stalking, and breaking and entering. I filed a restraining order, packed up, and left the house the next day. I stayed with my sister for weeks. Eventually, I sold the house. I couldn't walk through the hallway without thinking of those pages, those drawings, those footsteps overhead. Now I check every room twice. I installed cameras. I don't live alone anymore. But sometimes late at night, I still hear those phantom footsteps. And I still wonder, how long would he have stayed if I hadn't found him? Have you ever heard something in your house you couldn't explain? Tell your story below, and subscribe for more shocking first-person stories, only on Story Shock.